everyone. I welcome all of you to this channel and to VAIR, which is for winning dreams. Today, we are going to discuss a very important topic and something that a lot of students forget in their journey of preparation for your dream institute, that is TISS, Tata Institute of Social Sciences. That is how to prepare for the TISS PI. Now, a lot of you might be thinking that why now? Why do we need to start preparing for it now? And there's almost like 6 to 8 months to go for the PI. So why should I start preparing now? And even if I should, then what should I do in order to prepare for it? Now, the first thing is why? Because transformation does not happen overnight. It takes a lot of time in order to get ourselves prepared. Now, a lot of you here might be freshers for whom it is going to be a fresh experience to start with something like PI or sit for a personal interview, which is why we have these tips for you. Now, for those who are work experience, who have work experience and are still working, but an interview for an institute varies from an interview for a company. So I hope these tips help you. Come, let's see. So the first thing that you need to do is understand the TISS interview format. Now the TISS selection process has primarily three steps. Now one is the DAF, which is the detailed application form. The second is your extempore, and the third is the personal interview. Now when it comes to the personal interview, there are two major kind of questions that you have to keep an eye out for. One is the general questions and the second is technical questions. What exactly do I mean by general questions? General questions are tell me something about yourself. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are the hobbies? Why do you want to pursue this in your career? What have you done so far? So, based on your academic experience, based on your work experience, questions based on your personality are general questions. So, try and write these answers down and prepare yourself for these general questions. The second type of questions are technical questions. Technical questions are not generic but specific to the field that you are coming from. Now, if that field is relevant to the field that you're going to enter into, then you might have technical questions from there as well. What do I mean by the same? For example, you're coming from psychology background, you might be asked questions based on psychology from whatever you've studied so far. Generally, it is your class 11, 12 syllabus plus your graduation year questions. So explaining theories, this is where you are expected to explain theories. This is where you are expected to answer questions based on situations, but the answer should correlate with the theories that you have prepared for from time to time. So make sure whenever you are sitting down to prepare for the test PI, you are covering both the general questions as well as the technical questions. The next thing is that you need to be thorough with your DAF. Now, DAF, as I told you, the detailed application form, it's basically the first document that the panelist is going to read before they interview you. So it is a detailed application form, pretty much like a resume before an interview. So, like a resume is the most important tool before you go for an interview, DAF is a very important tool when it comes to the TISS PI. So, what exactly does a DAF contain? It contains your academic and work ex related details. It has your bio sketch. It has details about the unaccounted period. Unaccounted period is nothing but your gap year. You are required to define the gap years, gap time. Like even if it is 3 months or 6 months of gap between two courses, you need to specify the dates and why did you take this gap year or what did you do during this gap year. So when it comes to gap year, you can talk about various internships, various research papers, or even physical or emotional and mental development that you have worked upon, which has led to personal growth. Relevant work experience is again expected. So, what are the kind of roles and responsibilities that you had during each of these experiences is also something that you need to talk about. But talk about it and try to correlate it with the field that you're going to enter into. For example, you have worked in the analytics department, but now you're moving to HR. Try to talk about analytics in a way that you can correlate it with HR. For example, if you've prepared about analytics, then if you worked in analytics, then what is it that you learned from analytics that can help you work in the HR? For example, working in team, which is very, very important for the HR as well. Any other exams that you have applied applied for is also asked in DAP. So any other institute or exams that you have applied for, or even other courses in TISS. Now the DAP, for each course you need to write a new DAP, and for each of these courses you will have a separate PI. So make sure that you are prepared to answer that why MPH, for example, or why MHA, for example, based on the DAP that you have applied. And they might ask you some tricky questions like which one would you choose, MPH or MHA, if you get selected in both. So make sure you have your answers prepared. Stay updated with the current affairs. Now, what kind of current affairs? It becomes really difficult to read the newspaper cover to cover every single morning for almost 1 year. In order to know about relevant current affairs, it's very important that you read articles relevant to the industry. So, for example, you are planning to get into the healthcare or public health industry. Then read news. What are the new public health policies that have been in place, or different kind of things like what is the public health budget or the health budget that has been allocated by the Indian government. How is it as compared to the global budget of health budget allocated to the healthcare, relevant to educational background. Now, again, the current affairs, suppose you're switching from psychology to HR, then what has happened in the field of psychology recently is also something that you need to prepare for. And relevant to the prospective industry. Now, for example, you're switching from psychology to HR, then what is new in the HR industry? So, for example, labor laws, or something that is new in terms of working women, any new kind of leaves, any new kind of gratuity that has been introduced recently by the government, or anything happening in the world of the industry that you are now going to enter into. For example, the course, that is the course that you have applied for. Know about your course. This is very important, and it is a big miss with a lot of aspirants. So know about your specialization. If you're going for applied psychology, know the curriculum and know that what are the different kind of careers you can expect from applied psychology, especially after the course that you are opting for. So make sure you have knowledge, complete knowledge about the course, the specialization, the curriculum, as well as the industry that you're planning to enter into. Prepare thoughtful questions as well, like why TISS. So that is very important. Don't end up saying that because it is owned by Tata Institute of Social Science, because it is a Tata group of institute, because Ratan Tata passed out of it, he did not. So make sure you know why exactly are you opting for TISS, and that the best way to do that is align your vision with the vision of the institute. Why you? The worst way to answer this is why not me? So do not do that, and have an insightful response to this kind of question, that what is it that you can bring to the table based on your experience, based on your academic qualifications? What is it that you can bring to the table and others cannot? And any questions for us? Never say no, don't. No, I have no questions. Everything is clear. Ask them questions. It shows that you're curious, you're inquisitive, and you want to know more about the institute, as well as at the same time you can show that you what you know about the institute and what you don't. For example, I recently read up on the website that we organize an event called this, or I recently read up on the website of some other college that they have a think tank. Does this have a think tank where students who have entrepreneurial dreams can also do something? So ask them questions which will force them to answer, and it will show curiosity on your part. So I hope these tips help you, and for more such tips, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and let us know if you have any doubts related to the this PI in the comments below. All the best.